What is going on, guys? It's Cameron and welcome to Spidey issue 2, this brand new series going back to Peter in high school, dealing with Spider-Man and high school, both at the same time. It's going to get a little bit crazy, possibly seeing Gwen relationships and Mary Jane relationships and all that awesome stuff. Now, of course, this is the second issue, but if you want to see my review of the first issue, then click the top right of the screen now. But for you guys that have already seen that review, you can tell by the front cover that this issue is going to be including Sandman, and indeed it does. So you can look forward to that, and one thing that I just want to point out is that Sandman actually looks like a vicious villain on the front cover. Usually Sandman's just kind of like a nice villain, but for some reason he looks truly sinister here. So without further ado, guys, let's jump into this issue, let's see where it takes us, and let's get into it. So right off the bat, when we jump in, we get this awesome introduction of Peter reminiscing on what's happened, and he actually blames himself for Uncle Ben's death, which really touched me when I read that. Now, one of the things I actually have a problem with is that Peter says that his Uncle Ben said that with great power comes great responsibility, when originally in Amazing Fantasy 15, it was actually Peter Parker who said that to himself. So I don't know whether that's like a mistake or whether it's like, because obviously over the years it said that Uncle Ben said that, but originally it was actually Peter Parker that said that, so yeah, I don't know. Really quickly, I just want to point out the layout of this page on screen and just talk about how awesome it is. Like, the sand from Sandman is actually separating the panels, and that's such an awesome artistic design. It's almost like the comic is themed to Sandman, and that's brilliant. Something else that I want to touch upon as well is that all of us are a little bit confused as to whether this is actually the 616 Peter Parker, and I'm actually going to say that no, it is not 616 Spider-Man. It's actually a modernized version of Peter in high school, because Peter has Instagram, he has Twitter, he has Facebook, and he didn't use Instagram, and he didn't use Facebook, and he didn't use Twitter and all that. So I'm going to say that this is an alternate universe where Spider-Man grew up with Instagram, with Twitter, with Facebook, with social media, and it's almost like he's growing up in today's modern world. So yeah, I'm going to see it as an alternate universe, and I actually really like it. It actually makes it better that it's not 616 Spider-Man because, well, I don't know, it's almost like I'm reading about a new character. But wait a minute, the one thing that makes me think that this is 616 Peter Parker is the thought boxes. You know, the boxes where it shows his thoughts? They are exactly the same as 616 Spider-Man out of the Amazing Spider-Man comics. So, I don't know. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I don't know whether it does, but let me know in the comments below about that. Now, one of the things that I love about this is that Peter is back in high school, obviously, and that means that he gets reintroduced to Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane and that, and we get to see the awkward Peter Parker interactions again. You know, like where he's worried about talking to a girl, and he's nervous about saying the right things, and I love the Lord of the Rings reference, especially because Gwen Stacy understood it. That's just so awesome. Now, we also got an Instagram reference right there where Spider-Man said that he got like a zillion likes. That is what I'm talking about. Maybe Peter Parker uploaded a Spider-Man picture to Instagram and he got loads of likes, and he's kind of like implementing modern day social media into the Spider-Man world, if you get what I mean. So that's going to be interesting to see how that will play into that in the future. Like, maybe Spider-Man will use Facebook or Twitter to find a villain in the future. Maybe he'll hashtag Green Goblin and people will reply with pictures of where he is or something. I don't know, something crazy like that I can just imagine happening. But I also feel that will bring Spider-Man closer to the audience, you know, like kind of closer to the people of New York City as well. Like, imagine if you follow Spider-Man on Twitter or Instagram. I actually wish that was a real thing. That's just so awesome. But enough blabbing on about that, we need to talk about Sandman and just how incredible he looks. Now, he looks like he has all the veins coming out of his neck, he's got the veins going down his arm, and it reminds me of like a Sandman Hulk. Now, when I was reading this comic, I actually thought to myself, isn't it just so cliche that Spider-Man encounters Sandman at a bank robbery? Like, that's just the most cliche robbery ever. So for any of you guys that are a little bit confused on this is not the first time Spider-Man has met Sandman. He already knows about him, he's already told us that his real name is Flint Marko. Because when I first finished this comic, I had to go back and make sure this wasn't the first encounter with Sandman, and obviously it's not. Now, one of the things I loved about Spider-Man and Sandman's interaction in this comic was, as soon as Spider-Man realized it was Sandman, he just went into full-blown joke mode. Like, the moment Sandman took his first swing at Spider-Man, Spider-Man went straight into like all the bug jokes, saying that he's an arachnid and all that. And surprisingly, I am really pleased with how Spider-Man handled this situation. Like, he learned at school just back there that this person used his environment to beat his enemies or something, and Spider-Man is actually using that. Now, I knew the moment that Gwen ran out of the classroom telling Peter that it was the environment, I knew that Peter was probably going to use that to his advantage facing off against enemies. So I really like how that foreshadowed that being Peter's idea later on. And I do have to say it was expected, but I'm kind of glad they did it that way. It's almost like they did it on purpose. Throughout the comic, we also get to see Peter talking about not his different personalities, but the different traits of his personality. You know, like the nerd, the superhero, the dork, the geek. And I love how he kind of says, oh, geek mode activated as he's going throughout the comic, even when he's Spider-Man. Because it's almost like his Peter Parker aspects of his life are shining through to his Spider-Man personality as well. But not only through his personality as Peter Parker, but also through his personality as Spider-Man as well. And I especially love when Spider-Man eventually took Sandman down with water, and for some reason he suddenly decided that cement was a good idea. And I knew when reading it that that was definitely a bad idea, because then he's going to have a Sandman statue. And I love how in this comic you know why the police officers hate Spider-Man. It's because Spider-Man leaves them like impossible things, like how are they actually going to move Cement Sandman out of the way? He's literally a statue stuck in the middle of this place. So you can understand how the police officers feel infuriated by Spider-Man, because he's kind of irresponsible when it comes to that. But at the same time, without Spider-Man's help, they wouldn't have been able to stop him. So it's kind of like a win-win situation, but not necessarily as well. So yeah. That is the end of the issue, guys. What did you think? Let me know in the comment section below. What did you think about Sandman? What did you think about Spider-Man? And this potentially not being 616 Spider-Man, but also maybe being 616 Spider-Man? I want to hear your thoughts on that. What would you prefer? Now, as for the comic, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It was so enjoyable. This really reminds me of the Invincible Iron Man, because I absolutely love that series as well, and I'm really enjoying this one. Like, I actually look forward to this comic releasing every month. It's just so refreshing to read something like this, especially with modern day social media involved in this comic as well. That's just awesome. And of course, the art styles are brilliant. As I mentioned at the beginning of the comic, that very first or second page where the Sandman themed panels and page, that was just brilliant. But that is it for this video, guys. I strongly recommend that you guys follow me on Twitter and Facebook, stay up to date on my videos, see when I'm editing them, see when I'm uploading them, so that you don't have to ask when I'm doing this or doing that. And of course, follow me on Facebook to stay up to date on all the comic book news and previews for comics that are coming in the future. And of course, the major one, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video for future reviews, and I will see you all next time.